All right. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. Hello, my name is Erin Lee. I'm with AdvaMed, and you are joining our webinar today. Of course, this webinar will be recorded, and we want to make sure that we answer all of your questions about the 2025 MedTech conference coming up here in just a few weeks in San Diego. I am so excited that you're joining us. We reviewed the list earlier today, and there's hundreds of you from all over the U.S. and all over the world, and we hope that you find today's webinar informative. So I will kick things off. Today we will discuss, we'll give some introductions to my co-speakers with me. I'll give you an overview of some momentum that we're seeing and who you can meet at the MedTech conference. From there, we'll give you some highlights of our MedTech campus, and then we'll go through some education highlights, networking by day. Then we'll give you a preview of who's already signed up for the conference. And then, of course, we know one of your main objectives today is to really learn more about the partnering system. So we'll give you a demo and some tips and tricks there. And then we'll close it out with a checklist. And for those of you that stay on with us, there might be a little bonus at the end. We do want this to be informative, so please make sure to use the chat to ask any questions that you have. And Beth and I, or the AdvaMed team who's standing by, will be able to help you. So with that, I introduce myself. My name is Erin Lee. I'm the Vice President of Growth and Strategy for AdvaMed. This will be my third MedTech conference. I'm so excited to join you all in San Diego. I'm joined by my colleague, Beth Perkins, who heads up Business Development and Investor Relations. So you'll get some really great updates on what she's been planning over the last several months. We'll be joined by Cynthia Yee, a partner at Vinsana Capital. She is an investor and she's very active within AdvaMed, and we're so grateful to have her participation today. And then Dave with Jujama is going to be joining us, and he'll be giving the partnering demo. All right, so a little bit about AdvaMed, the MedTech Association. We are headquartered here in Washington, D.C., and our mission is really to help you accelerate and bring solutions to patients. We represent more than 600 members from small to large, and you'll meet a lot of them in San Diego. We encourage you to stop by our booth that's going to be headquartered in the center of the MedTech campus. So wanted to create a little, let's see if this will play. All right, so let's talk about momentum. We will be joined in San Diego by more than 35 countries. We are seeing record participation for our event that's going to be hosted in the United States. And we are just thrilled to be joined by so many partners. We've been working with our friends at Biocom, CLS, MassMedic, and MedTech Canada. We are coming off of a banner year in Toronto last year. So for those of you that joined us, we're so excited for you to join us again in San Diego. Separate from that, we are very grateful for our longstanding partnership with our SMTA groups. Those state affiliates are really essential at the state level and keeping collaboration going. So you'll see some new names on our sponsorship list this year. We're so grateful for their ongoing support. Many of them are active in a number of ways. So you'll meet them throughout the MedTech campus. You'll meet them in our education program, and some of them are sponsoring our networking events. All right, so let's dive in. So when everything's said and done, we are anticipating more than 3,500 MedTech professionals, really everybody working in the MedTech space. We do have something for everybody. And really the main reasons people come to this event every year that I hear, it's really the access. And there's no other place where the MedTech concentration of the large MedTech companies and the CEOs are really in one building. We are very proud of our MedTech education. We've been working on this for months, but really curating it to ensure it is more timely than ever and that it's really addressing your critical needs that you have today. Beth will walk you through all of our interactive company stages. So much content. So what I would suggest to you today is really to take it all in, familiarize yourself with our schedule, and really arrive with a plan, because there is a lot going on between our education and between our stages. We know that the regulatory environment is dynamic right now, and so we really have a number of sessions that we recommend that you attend to get those insights that you need. As far as investment opportunities, there are going to be a good record number of investors participating, and we also have a number of sessions that are going to help guide you on what we're seeing in the investment environment right now. And then as far as patient-centric solutions, the patient voice will be woven throughout our program. It'll take the main stage within our keynote luncheon, and it will also take stage on our patient stage within the MedTech campus. And then, of course, research and innovation through universities and different partners, you'll hear that throughout. So really breaking down the event, all things education, networking, partnering, and when everything's said and done, we'll expect more than 1,600 companies attending with us in San Diego. So who really attends? The C-suite of MedTech companies. We really pride ourselves on bringing them back every year. And what we're seeing growing is really the next level of the C-suite. So something for everybody, working in regulatory, policy, compliance, legal, and down to the kind of manager level. For those of you that might be new to the MedTech industry, we also offer registration for anybody new to the sector or who is a student. So make sure to familiarize yourself with our registration packages online. As far as job functions, you'll see that our education program is cross-cutting and offers more than 20 different topics. And of course, we represent more than 25 different industries. So here is a snapshot of who attends from a company perspective and from a role perspective. You'll see hundreds of startups and early stage companies. We really pride ourselves to be home to ensure that we're offering a really safe environment for startups to learn, engage, and grow within the conference and within the AdvaMed community. And so from service provider perspective, we have a service provider stage, and you'll meet and hear from them throughout our education as well. We do have a robust government and global education program, and we'll walk you through some more opportunities for manufacturers and investors and where you'll see them. So what we are seeing, especially with the large MedTech companies, is that the MedTech conference really is a destination to bring their team together in one place. So here's an example. Our two steering committee leads, Lisa and Mick, are sending large teams from both Abbott on the left-hand side and ResMed on the right-hand side. So as you can see from the diversity of these titles, from public relations, regulatory affairs, state government relations, quality and compliance, you name it, because there really is awesome education available for everybody working in any capacity. So here is a really robust list of some of the powerhouse companies that you'll see talking on stage, oftentimes together, which is really cool. So we have a program from Google that I'll walk you through here shortly. And we're so excited to bring Dexcom. And then we're just thrilled to have partners like IDA Ireland, Medmark, Olympus, so many companies woven throughout. So I know many of you might still be making the decision to attend, and we want to make sure that you have all that information available to you. So what I'm giving you a demo of here is our company list. So you can go there right now and kind of browse companies by category and kind of figure out, okay, what are the types of companies I'm looking for, focused on digital health, et cetera. It really helps you get a lay of the land before you enter the partnering system. So if you haven't made the decision to attend yet, we encourage you to spend some time there and see some of the impressive companies planning on joining. All right, so we thought what would be helpful next is a preview of the MedTech campus and also some highlights on some new things that we're planning for those of you that come every year. So here we're looking at a schedule at a glance. Everything kicks off on Sunday, October 5th, really with a full day of education. And I'll walk you through the specifics on some of that here shortly. But you want to plan to arrive early on Sunday and spend all day at the convention center. And then everything will culminate with a really fun reception that will take place at the back of the San Diego Convention Center. Followed by Monday, which is a full day, kicking off at 9 o'clock in the MedTech campus. We'll have education, networking, and partnering all day long from morning till night. For those of you who are looking for time to schedule a team dinner or with a colleague or with a client, we are recommending that you schedule those on Monday night. And then followed by Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday is really a half day where we'll close out with a reception on the floor in the MedTech campus, providing you with lunch. All right, I'm going to kick it over to Beth. Actually, before I kick it over to Beth, we wanted to help you with a visual. So the conference will take place in the San Diego Convention Center. We will have 3 halls. So on the ground level, the street level is really where a lot of the activity in the MedTech campus will take place. So just wanted to familiarize yourself with when you walk in. On your left-hand side will be our keynote lunches. Those are on Monday and Tuesday during lunch, and then Wednesday morning, we'll have a breakfast in there. That's where you're going to see our keynotes live that I'll walk you through shortly. And then in the back of the hall is where the one-on-one partnering meetings will happen. That's our big partnering area where once you have a confirmed scheduled meeting, it'll take place there. And then on the right-hand side, just as far as something new that's available only to all access registrants or anybody that adds it to their registration, we'll have kind of a free-form networking lunch where you can grab lunch, grab a friend, grab a colleague, and have lunch. And it will not have the keynote playing, but we wanted to make sure we give people options this year. And I will draw your attention to the Tech in Motion hub in the center of the floor. That is also where AdvaMed will celebrate its 50th anniversary, and that's where we'll have the AdvaMed booth as well. So I don't want to steal her thunder, but what Beth is about to do is she's going to walk us through all the cool areas within the floor. And so I will kick it over to Beth to start with our Tech in Motion hub.
Yes, thank you, Erin. That was a great overview and visual of our MedTech campus. And Erin briefly talked about these, but Tech in Motion is where we have some of our bigger, well-known names in the industry presenting a piece of their technology. AdvaMed will have its home there too. It's our 50th anniversary. So we invite you all to please come by Tech in Motion right in the middle of the MedTech campus. You can't miss it. Another area she highlighted is our patient pavilion. So a lot of these companies will have one of their patient advocates, patient representatives. There'll be short interviews that you'll get to hear from these patients. Just really inspiring stories. Again, this is part of the MedTech campus and a great spot to visit. So you can go ahead, Erin. MedTech Next Gen headquarters. We started this area a couple years ago. It's really for our recent graduates, veterans, and early career professionals. So anyone with less than 5 years. It's not a career fair, but it's an area where you can come do some networking, and also there's some thought leadership in this area. And these are some of the participating organizations and academics that will be in this area.
What I would add here, Beth, is that for any of you that know students who are working within the MedTech space, it's really easy to go online. If they're not affiliated with any of these schools, it's easy to go online, fill out a form, and kind of prove that you work in MedTech or you're studying MedTech. And we have a really cost-effective registration option for students, emerging professionals. So just encourage you to share that along with anybody that might be interested.
Thanks, Erin. Our Innovation Pavilion is an area where we will have 16 companies. They have small exhibit spaces. These are companies from our AdvaMed Excel membership, our MedTech Innovator cohort, and others that applied. These are early stage companies, startups, and it's a chance where they're all grouped together and you can come by and see them present their technologies, interact with them. It's a really fun spot to stop by and meet some of the new emerging leaders in MedTech.
And we do plan to hold a reception in that space. I think, is that one Tuesday night, Beth?
Yes, Tuesday evening. So we'll have receptions in the exhibit hall both Monday and Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30. So on Tuesday evening, during this reception, there will be like a meetup for our AdvaMed Excel members and other small companies. And so we just wanted to highlight, we went through all those areas, but there's over 100 companies that'll be presenting in the exhibit hall in different stages, different presentations. So we have our company presentations. These are 10-minute pitches that take place on the Innovation Pavilion stage, so in the MedTech campus. We have our new startup pitch, which this will take place on Sunday at the convention center. There's 15 companies that are selected. It's open to all registrants though, not just those companies. MedTech is the sponsor. They're a military medicine organization. So all of these companies that are selected will have some type of military application. It's very fitting, I think, for our location this year in San Diego. So if you're there on Sunday, we invite you to come. It's hear from some great companies, and it'll also be like a happy hour type style event. Also in the MedTech campus, we have our solution showcase. And so this is where some of the service providers will be presenting their products. We also have our corporate reverse pitches. So those are not in the exhibit hall. Those are with the sessions. But that's where you can hear from about 20 of the business development and corporate development leaders from some of the big names. And we'll talk a bit more about the corporate reverse pitches in a few minutes. And then finally, on our MedTech campus, we have our MedTech Innovator Showcase. So we have a partnership with MedTech Innovator. They run a really great accelerator program, and they bring their 65 class of companies for this year to present at the conference. So we talked a bit about, we can go through these quickly. These are our company presentations that'll take place on the Innovation Pavilion stage, Monday and Tuesday. So you can go ahead, Erin. We talked about MedTech Innovators. Sorry, I went ahead and dove into a bunch of these, but MTI will have their own stage in the MedTech campus as well. We chatted about Solution Showcase. And then next slide. The corporate reverse pitches, just to spend a few seconds on this. So again, these take place outside of the MedTech campus. They'll be on the same area as the session rooms, but these are the 21 companies presenting this year. These are 15-minute presentations. Small companies love to attend these because they can hear from some of the leaders from some of these mid-sized to big companies. Investors like to attend these as well. But it's a great opportunity to hear from these companies, and then also try to meet with them, or just a quick handshake, exchange of a business card after. So let's chat a bit about, I know a lot of the companies want to know about investors attending. These are our investor organizations that are attending this year. We are on track to have our most investors for a US-based meeting. These are angel investors, venture capital, family offices, investment bankers, and analysts. So it's quite a mix of a lot of different stages of investors. And you can go ahead to the next slides, Erin. And so we thought this would be a good time to hear from one of those investors, which Erin introduced at the top of the call. We have Cynthia Yee joining us from Vinsana Capital. She is a longtime attendee of the MedTech conference. Cynthia has graciously joined us, but she has lost most of her voice today. So I'm gonna shorten this part of the webinar. But I did just want to ask her, as an investor, advice you would give to other investors, but also to small companies about how best to interact at the conference, access investors, find investors, just just a piece of advice that you would offer them. I think that would be helpful.
Sorry, I lost my voice. I think this conference is really unique in that it has a lot of the BD professionals from a lot of the companies attending, and it's actually really easy to get in touch with them through the partnering portal. And if you don't hear from them, my best advice is not everyone likes to log in. So make sure you give a really good summary of what you do, and your contact information and email so that we can reach out to you directly, if it's a fit. But the best way is to really make sure that you're actually a good fit with that investor or that company.
Yes, I think that's great advice. I think the investors and the business development, they get a lot of requests. And we'll dive into this a bit, but just make sure you're a good fit instead of instead of doing generic outreach to every investor in the system, every business development person in the system. You want to make sure your company is a good fit and aligns with what that investor's portfolio includes or what that company's portfolio includes. You want to make yourself stand out a bit. They do get inundated with requests. So to help them respond to you successfully, you need to have a clear message and have done your homework and research in advance. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and Cynthia did say if you have any questions for her directly, you can message her in the chat. We're just not going to make her talk anymore.
Or message her in the partnering system when you log on, right? Well, great. Thank you, Cynthia. So we are getting a handful of questions coming into the chat. So Beth, some are for you. And then
yeah, I'll check those out.
Yeah, so some that are one-to-one, we'll follow up with you after, but I do think there's a couple that will be helpful to everybody. We have a question from David Regan, who's asking if he can sign up to make a company presentation.
We are full on company presentations, unfortunately. We did, we have, with our part of the program, we have about 50 slots, and we did reach that capacity and have a wait list. So you can certainly email me if anything opens up. I'd be glad to let you know, but we do have a wait list. I think it's a good problem to have. It just tells us there is demand for it, and we need to create some more opportunities in the schedule in future years.
Yeah, and a general rule of thumb with our conference, we typically start to kind of coordinate our education and open our applications for education company presentations, typically in the new year. So make sure to earmark January for next year's planning. There was a question around recording the startup pitch competition. I don't believe that we will be recording that.
We will not be, no.
But please coordinate with Beth on any other details you have around that program. Scott Rappaport asks, are there any discounts for pre-seed companies? The answer is yes. We always want to do right by small companies. So on our registration site, you can see that small companies get preferred pricing. Absolutely. All right. Cynthia, we do have one question. Actually, we'll make sure that you get it in the chat from David Brown. Okay. So as far as meeting guarantees, so Beth, do you want to take that one? As far as how we, the question is it possible to set up meeting guarantees with companies?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question, but I think it probably goes back to with the 4,000 attendees at a conference, we're not able to make everyone log into the app, and we encourage it, we educate, but we're not able to make sure that all meeting requests are answered. So right. I think it goes back to trying to make your meeting request as clear and informative as possible so that it's more likely that the person you're sending it to will accept it.
Right. We do have impressive numbers as far as who logs in. I think it's close to 80%. So we do have really good engagement, and it has been growing in the last few years. And then, of course, familiarize yourself with our schedule, because a lot of the CEOs, honestly, are on stage. So you might be able to catch them after they speak. Nothing's guaranteed, just like on online dating, but there are opportunities to literally bump into people within the MedTech campus. All right. Okay, well, thank you for the questions. Keep them coming in. So as far as an education overview, I wanted to make sure that I stated that you want to familiarize yourself with your badge and your registration type. So all of the education that's in the session rooms, you have to have an all access pass. And the all access pass also gets you access to that keynote luncheon where you have food and lunch. You'll have options to both. Just wanted to make sure that I stated that. So as far as all the education that we offer, we do have a number of panel sessions, company presentations. When everything's said and done, there'll be more than 400 experts taking the stage. We do offer a good amount of special programming throughout the week. A good portion of it is actually on Sunday, and I'll walk you through that. We have 3 pretty awesome keynotes. We're actually announcing the 3rd one today, so you guys will get the full preview. We just locked it in this week. And then as far as our investor forum, Beth, do you want to speak on that's really a curated content to draw investors to our conference. So Beth, did you want to touch on that?
Sure. The investor forum is really, it's exactly what Aaron said. It's a curated agenda. If you go to if you go to the agenda online, there's a button you can click for investor forum. And it really just pulls all the sessions, company presentations, things that we suggest investors attend, things we suggest small companies attend, and those business and corporate development executives. So it's really that whole ecosystem. So it's not a separate event. It's part of our regular conference attendance. It's just selected sessions under a curated agenda.
Great. All right, so we're about halfway through, and I want to make sure we have time to do the demo of the partnering system. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of everything that's available online right now. But our education themes really are compelling. I think we've been getting awesome feedback so far. So we'll be giving you highlights on MedTech M&A, global regulator perspectives, global MedTech strategy, everything around investment, digital health and AI. You will see through the program that is really woven in throughout. It'll also take the main stage during one of our keynotes. We have a lot around diagnostics, IVD, health at home and connected care. Big Tech meets MedTech at our conference, so encourage you to familiarize there. And then as far as data access, regulation, and reimbursement, all of those are trends that you'll see us talking about. So we want to help you make that decision to really justify coming to the conference. We know that you have hard choices to make when it comes to conferences. So what this is an example of everything you can find online right now when you browse to the website. So this gives you an easy way to filter by day, filter by track. It's the same exact content that Dave's going to give us a demo of within the partnering system, but gives you a lay of the land. Okay. So before we dive in, I really wanted to highlight some impressive speakers. Just really thrilled at how this is coming together. I'll draw your eye to Kevin Lobo and Ashley, who will join Bain & Company on a scaling AI and MedTech session. Really cool around AI's promise to turn healthcare into measurable outcomes. We have a good amount of speakers in our digital health track that'll be talking about where collaboration happens between MedTech and Big Tech. Robert Cohen here from Stryker and NVIDIA will explore partnerships in MedTech and how global technology leaders are reshaping healthcare. So really just wanted to highlight some of these folks. Make sure you browse our speaker list and our session list. So here is a snapshot of some of our digital health content. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry. Where we're going to talk about scaling generative AI and MedTech, really more around connected care and remote monitoring. The future of wearables, definitely a hot theme. So make sure to spend some time reviewing that. And then I will highlight our Sunday program here shortly. Okay, so diagnostics and IVD. So we've spent a lot of time really kind of planning the content here. This section of our program will focus on regulatory modernization, reimbursement reform, accelerating patient access. So really want to make sure that you spend some time going through the program if you're interested in this area. Also, we have a lot of, you'll see a lot of AdvaMed staff taking the stage. This is my colleague, Zach Rothstein, we will be hosting a DC download. It'll be a town hall for diagnostics companies, members, really to have a dialogue around everything going on right now. So make sure to earmark some of those sessions. Okay, so legal and compliance, very important topic, very critical, very timely right now. We have a really, it's a new session that we're offering. AdvaMed became an ANSI accredited organization last year, and it really means that we can convene stakeholders year round to really talk about the quality and safety standards that's needed in MedTech. So AdvaMed is really championing this. So you'll hear, there's actually 2 sessions going on, and that'll be moderated by AdvaMed, and definitely encourage you to join that. It'll really give you insights on adopting and contributing to industry standards, for both your company and for the industry, where we'll talk about reducing costs, mitigating risks, things like that. So plan to earmark some of those. Also something new this year, we have a handful of sessions where you can get CLE credits. They are earmarked within the program, but definitely encourage you guys to bookmark those as you plan your education, and you can walk away with some credit. The business strategy and finance, we know how critical that is, and we know that you want tips definitely for small companies. So here you'll see the do's and don'ts of fundraising, where we have a handful of small companies and investors really talking about what's needed. Separate from that, our business strategy and finance track always is very popular, where we'll talk about M&A trends, the public market outlook, needs-based innovation, and then of course, reimbursement strategies. All right, let me check the chat to see what questions we have coming in. Okay, looking good. Okay, so wanted to give you kind of a lay of the land by day. I know I just highlighted a lot of our speakers and sessions. So Sunday really is a full day. So our Doing Business Globally program, we are bringing this back every year. It really equips you with insights, connections, and resources for those that are looking to tap into innovation and key markets. And we also have our annual US Market Seminar that'll go alongside. We have very country-specific programming. I think we have it in Canada, Germany, Singapore, and Asia. And it'll really highlight some opportunities that will support global growth and collaboration. And we know that the conversations around global harmonization are more important than ever. So you will find that in those particular programs. I'll dive into the Google workshop next. That's our first time working with Google to bring you a really stellar half-day program. Beth already walked you through the pitch and pour competition. That will be right before our global MedTech welcome reception. That will be in the back of the convention center on Sunday night. So all this to say, please arrive early on Sunday. Make sure you factor in time to pick up your badge, and then walk upstairs to go to the education program. Okay, so wanted to give you, there's no way that we can give you highlights on everything going on, but just to give you perspective on the diversity of the sessions for everybody working within MedTech. So wanted to highlight a China session from the general manager lens that really gives you opportunities on how to collaborate and work with China. We already touched on MedTech M&A. Again, this session is always hot every year. So if you plan to attend that one, I would just suggest that you get there early. And then as far as key sessions around reimbursement challenges, so earmark those sessions on Monday. Speaking of Monday, hopefully you saw this announcement a couple of weeks ago, but we are thrilled to have Ivan Tornos joined by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Zimmer's Chief Movement Officer. So this one will be a lot of fun. We think there'll be some fun surprises. It'll be a dynamic conversation for sure. So we're just thrilled to have them take the main stage during lunch on Monday. Again, you want to make sure you have that all access pass in order to sit in the room. One thing to note about our keynote luncheons, it is first come, first serve. So typically people line up at least about half an hour before it starts. So if you want to see them live, definitely encourage you to do that. Maybe Arnold will do some push-ups. I don't know. Okay. So diving into Tuesday, Beth mentioned all of the programming and opportunities that we have for small companies. It really is impressive, but we bring back our Excel leadership seminar every year. So this is just a snapshot of one of the sessions, which is around decoding the angel investor mindset. Very cool. So we'll have investors and small companies on this session. So just encourage you to look at that full program. And you can learn more about how we support members year round as well. And as far as the third session, I wanted to bring your eye to another session where you can get a CLE credit, the next big lawsuit, understanding the historical risk profile of products with the mass tort litigation. I know that this one is very timely if you're working in the legal and compliance space, so encourage you to look there. One thing I did want to mention, we have a fun run Tuesday morning for those fitness fanatics. So that will be, you can add that to your registration. That one's sponsored by Zimmer as well. And that'll take place adjacent to the convention center. All right, so Tuesday, so this one's hot off the press. We're announcing it today. This one really is a powerhouse panel that's going to focus on AI transforming healthcare. So you'll be joined by Lisa Earnhardt from Abbott, Mick Farrell from ResMed, Don Doyle from Microsoft, and Tim Schmid from J&J MedTech. This one will be a really fantastic conversation. We're so excited to bring this to you. So you'll see that announcement today. So you've heard it here first. All right, so a quick Wednesday preview. This is really where we close things out. And Wednesday morning is when we have our FDA CDRH town hall. This one is always very popular, but we really are really thrilled to have Michelle Tarver. She's actually joining us all week long, but she's taking the main stage Wednesday morning. She'll be joined by a number of her peers who are the experts in this space. And this is really where you're gonna hear live. What are their strategic priorities? What is the direction that they're going in? And you can ask questions. And this will be moderated by our own Janet Trunzo. So that's our keynote for the day. And then it's followed by some of these sessions. So then Michelle will have another fireside chat following that keynote where you can hear and talk to her again. And then I wanted to bring your eye to another session on strengthening industry academic partnerships and then the role of international markets within the global MedTech strategy. All this to say, really diverse program. We have something for everybody. So spend some time reviewing it, make your plan, and you'll be very grateful. I know I touched on a number of these networking events, but wanted to give them to you all in one slide. So Sunday kicks off with our pitch and pour happy hour, then closes with our Sunday welcome reception. And then Monday, there's some really fun networking within the hall. This is something new this year. On Monday afternoon at 4:30, we'll have our MedTech campus booth crawl. And that's where you'll have exhibitors who are kind of spotlighting their technologies with some fun food, some surprises. So definitely encourage you to make note of that. It's mislabeled here, but on Tuesday, we'll have another reception sponsored by IDA Ireland. And that's our Chairman's Cheers reception. And that's where AdvaMed will also be celebrating 50 years as an organization. So we hope you can join us for that. And then Tuesday evening, there's a really cool new space in San Diego. It's walking distance from the convention center. It's called Eve. Again, that reception, there'll be some live music. That reception will be open to all access registrants. So make sure you earmark that one. That will be really fun. And then Wednesday, we close out the day, close out the MedTech campus with lunch and really celebrating traveling back to Boston next year for the 2026 MedTech conference. All right, well, that was a lot. Let me check the questions. Anything coming in, Beth?
I think I've answered most of them.
Okay.
There was a question about sessions and what we're going to be recording. We are not recording any sessions to post this year. So
but we do have a new we might put it in the chat. We'll give you some details. We have some of our sessions will be available in a new app as far as the content. We'll make the slides available. So we'll share more of that information out so that you can walk away with more of the content from the conference.
Thanks, Erin.
Sure. All right.
I think everything else we've answered. But keep the questions coming if you have more.
Keep them coming. We have a little over 15 minutes left. So I wanted to, before we kick it off with Dave, I really wanted to share some of the titles that are registered, that are within the partnering system. But it really is an impressive list of titles. Like I stated, we'll have more than 35 countries represented. We already have 34 states represented. And when everything's said and done, we'll have several hundred new companies, a lot of new small companies with really cool technology that you can meet and see throughout the week. And then as far as the breakdown of the types of companies that you'll meet at the conference, that you'll meet in the partnering system, this gives you a breakdown of really the service providers, of course, who help drive our ecosystem, the startup and emerging MedTech companies, and then, of course, the large MedTech companies that are sending large teams, like I stated. And then investors, and then government and nonprofit groups are in there as well. So we wanted to make sure that we empower you with some information on the partnering system. So with that, I will introduce Dave with Dujama to give us a quick demo and some tips on navigating the system.
Thank you, Erin.
Sure.
Share my screen for everybody. One moment. All righty. Okay, so everyone, once you're registered or within a couple hours of your registration, you'll be sent an email with a username and password with a link directing you to the web portal. You can also download the MedTech conference app in either the Apple or Android stores. First time you log into the system, it's going to ask you to set a password, which will be your password moving forward. It's also going to ask you to answer a set of questions, which will help you better connect with other attendees. After doing so, it's going to take you to this landing page. First thing I suggest everyone do is in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see where your name is. You're going to want to go to your profile settings. So we populate your information based off of your registration data. We do not expose anyone's contact information. All emails from the app or the system come from a no reply email address. And we do not expose anyone's phone numbers. You're just seeing mine because this is my personal information. But to better increase your chances of connecting with the right people, I highly recommend you upload a profile picture, a company bio, company logo, personal profile, update your interests. You could upload videos and documents. Basically, the more information you post about yourself, the better chances of connecting with someone that you want to connect with, or giving the right information for people that you are reaching out to. On this page of settings, because this is going to come up a lot for people, on the bottom, there's a notification settings. If you want to use the mobile app but do not want to participate or receive meetings and messages, you can turn that off through here. Or if you want your schedule to be able to be accessed by your colleagues so they could view the meetings that you booked or the sessions, you want to enable this. It is disabled by default, so you just want to make sure it's green when you go into here. After updating your profile settings, what most people are doing, they're going to the attendees tab. This is where you could do your first level of searches for all the individuals. You could search by the different registrations, as Erin said, hospital buyer, investor, service providers. You could search by company, keywords. Most people want to use the advanced search option. This is where you could really tailor who you're looking for. If you're looking for a specific position of someone, you could do so. If you're looking for specific industry sectors or investment stages, maybe you're looking for people who are looking for angel or IPOs, you could select those and then hit search. What that's going to do is filter the list of all the individuals to the people you're looking for. The way the service works are names are clickable to go to full profiles. Company names are clickable to go to full company profiles. The three dots here will give you your communication settings. The bubbles down here will allow you to add individuals to a favorite list if you'd like to easily access them. If you want to send anyone a message, you could directly message them through here. This goes out as an email. Again, not going to expose your contact information. It also goes out as a push alert in the mobile app. More importantly, if you want to request meetings with an individual, you could click on the Meet Me option. The way meetings work. So you have your days of partnering on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. You can select either a 15 or 30-minute meeting. If you're looking for a brief meeting, obviously select 15. If you want to do a little more discussion on topics, maybe you want to select 30 minutes. The time slots shown, these are all based off of mutual availability. So we default everyone to available. As you start building out your personal schedule, in the agenda feature, will ask you if you want to still be made available for meetings, if partnering is available during those times, or you could update your availability to mark yourself unavailable. But the times you see are the times that you and the other individual are currently available. You're going to just select assign me a location, and we'll assign you a partnering table. If you're one of the exhibitors that are having meetings at your booth, you'll see an option for that as well. Rest works just like an email. You're going to write a subject, a description, and you're going to hit invite at the bottom of this form. If you wanted to add more people when you're doing an individual meeting, you could do so. Aaron and Beth touched a little bit on best practices when inviting someone to a partnering meeting. My personal experience over 20 years of doing this, less is more is not necessarily better. You know, especially if you're looking for an investor or someone else, you want to pretty much give an elevator pitch of why you're looking to connect, why it might be beneficial, and, you know, just a short synopsis. If you're going to write a book there, most people aren't going to take the time to read 7 or 8 paragraphs of a meeting. My other piece of advice that a lot of people do not do that will help you with a lot of this is make your own little signature at the bottom of all of these. Put your phone number and your email at the bottom of a meeting request or a message you send someone. That way, if someone's booked up with meetings already, they have your personal contact information. If you include your phone number, it's a lot easier to text someone or call them while connecting at one of the other social events to, you know, possibly meet up that way, as opposed to actually having a one-to-one meeting booked in the system. Last piece of advice for this, and make sure everyone understands this. You do not have to track the times that you are sending meetings. You can send out all of your meeting requests for Tuesday at 9 a.m. if you'd like. The system is going to work all of this out. The first person who goes to accept your invite for 9 o'clock will get a meeting booked. You both receive an email and a push alert telling you this is where you're meeting at, this is the table number, you can export that to your personal schedule, etc. Next person who goes to accept a meeting that you sent for 9 a.m. will simply be told, this time is no longer available. Please select from another mutually available time. So once they select a new time, because it's based off of mutual availability, that meeting will be confirmed. So please don't think you have to only send one meeting for one time slot. At the bottom of every request, you can update your availability at any point. This is mine. You'll see right off the bat, it's telling me I'm attending sessions at these times. So I don't have availability, but as I scroll down, I'm marked available throughout the rest of the day. So that's how you do a meeting request through here. You could do a quick view of individuals if you'd like. This is just going to show you all the ways they answered their questions. Again, you have your communication options up here. We allow you to take notes throughout the entire system. Everything I am showing you on the web portal is available on the mobile app. They're all one and the same. So that's using the attendees tab to do some networking. Let's talk about the agenda tab real quick before we go into more of the meetings aspect. With the agenda, our system works similar. You have options to search by titles, by keywords. You could do the various tracks if you'd like. There's an advanced search option that will give you more options. As you start to scroll down, you'll see the different sessions. You can add them to your personal schedule. As you do so, it's going to add them on the right-hand side of the screen. It's also going to populate the personal schedule tab. On the web version, you can export an ICS file. On the mobile app, once you go, it's going to ask you, do you want to sync with your device calendar? You're going to pick which calendar on your device you want to sync with, and then all that personal schedule information will sync. Another note for partnering meetings, if you sync this with your Outlook and then you change a partnering meeting or it's rescheduled in the mobile app, that does not update your Outlook. So your number one goal for what's going on that day should be your personal schedule in the mobile app in case a person rescheduled one of your meetings. Otherwise, you're going to have to manually upload your Outlook just because there's no sync for any app to update your actual Outlook. Other features that are available. First off, on the left-hand side, there's a full menu. This is scrollable on the homepage. These are just your main call to action items. If you want to just view what's going on with the investor forum, you can. The speakers are all linked to their sessions. If you want to go to a specific session, you don't know what it's called, but you know who the speaker is, you could find it that way. The meetings tab. I don't have any confirmed meetings. No one wants to meet with me, unfortunately. But you have the filter right at the top. So we are going to show your confirmed meetings at the bottom. Awaiting confirmation means someone has sent you a meeting and you need to respond to it. Now, in the same instance, if you want to follow up from a request you have sent someone, but you have not heard a response, you would filter to requested and hit filtered meetings. You could post a comment, which that's how we call it, but that's basically just sending a follow-up email to meetings that you've sent. You can export all your meetings to Excel if you'd like. You can send multiple requests through here. So you either have the option if you want to do one-to-one meetings or if you want to do group meetings, and then you can do the advanced search as well. This is basically just going to allow you to say, if you're going to select, hey, I want to send a meeting to these 4 individuals, it's going out as an individual meeting request to each of them. This is more so if you have a specific pitch in mind for specific companies, but you don't want to get into tailoring it to John or Muhammad or someone. This is where you're going to be a little more generic with your request. If you did the group meeting, that means you're sending it to 3 or 4 people, but you want to meet with all of them at the same time. Another thing I would suggest is if you're doing a group meeting and you're requesting meetings with different companies and you're trying to get investment, I highly recommend you don't do that. You should send out an individual meeting request, but I do see people thinking that it's a good idea to look to see if you can get different investors all at the same time. The likelihood of that being accepted is very low. So just a FYI on that. Other areas on the homepage, you could view any of the sponsors of the events through here. You could do meetings with them. If you click the Meet Us, it's going to pull up any delegates. If they have any delegates registered yet, you could select which delegates you want to send requests to. On the left-hand side, other areas, if you want to access the messages you've sent. So meetings are one aspect. When you send a meeting, you're not going to see it in your message tab in the app or on the platform. If you send someone a message, it's not going to show in your meetings tab. They're 2 different features. A message is all intents purposes. That's your Outlook, that's your email for within this ecosystem. So if you want to view those, you could view all of them through here. You could view all the companies as well through here. As I mentioned, we have the exhibitors. We touched on that during the webinar earlier, but you could search all the different categories if you're looking for specific companies that are in anesthesia or diagnostic imaging. This is a great way to go view those companies and go into all of their information. We have a social feed for the thread. That's just where people are uploading videos, documents. They're telling their story. If you're putting pitch decks or anything that you want publicly available, this is where you can access all of that. If you're a service provider and you're looking just to get a little more visibility for yourself, maybe you want to put something here once every couple of days just so you're at the top of the list. It's a passive way of marketing yourself. That way for people who go there, they might, you might catch the eye of someone who's interested, then they could post comments just like you would on social media, or they might reach out to you with that aspect. Last thing I'm going to point out, and then I don't want to take too much time so I can answer questions or just give more time back to Aaron and Beth. We have digital business cards in here, so you could create digital business cards and share them if you're looking to exchange contact information. If you have any questions, this is just filling out my information. It's not sending it to me directly. You could use the contact support through here. In the upper right-hand corner, we have help notes that are a little more generic. You have a contact support form. We have a tutorial video on the main page. Our support email is support@jujima.com. My personal email is dave@jujima.com. If you want to email me directly, happy to help you guys out as well. And again, this is the web portal. Specifically, download the MedTech conference mobile app before the conference so you can get everything on the go while you're there. And I'm going to turn it back to Aaron, or happy to answer any questions that might have popped up that I wasn't paying attention to when I was talking.
Thank you, Dave. We do have, I think, a couple questions, but I love that you underscore that trying to reach out to people in different ways can go a long way. Instead of putting all emphasis on just the partnering system, it's really take advantage of everything afforded to you in person, digitally, and then within the partnering system. So I think that that's a great tip. I think you touched on this, but as far as the calendar, does it sync with Google Calendar and Outlook? Which one?
If you export it, you get an ICS file. So that's through the web portal. An ICS file is just the file type that you can import into whatever calendar of your choosing. If you're using the mobile device, it used to just sync with your preferred or your specific device calendar. We've added an option that you could select which calendar on your device you'd like it to sync with.
Great.
Aaron, I think we got all the other questions via typing, but if you see other ones, feel free to bring them up.
This one's from an exhibitor who registered with a booth. And we might need to follow up with them directly around how to log in. Deneen, we see your question and we'll message you directly.
Yep, I'll grab that one.
Thanks, Beth. All right. And then, of course, Cynthia's just jumping right in there. She's a pro. I love it. Thank you. Okay. So we'll go back and we'll just close things out with a couple more reminders. So we wanted to provide you all with reminders and a checklist. So thank you, Dave. Really appreciate the contact information, and we can keep it going and take as many questions as we can fill in this hour. But as far as housing, we know that some people are still registering and there is still housing available. Definitely encourage you to take a look at the Omni. As you know, we locked in some really great rates for you all. And one of the things I love about San Diego is just the walkability. So once you land at the airport, you're 10 minutes downtown and you're kind of walking everywhere from there. So it's a really easy city and wonderful conference city to travel to. So as far as announcements, as you can see, we have so much to say. We can't fit it all in. Please follow us on LinkedIn, join the conversation. And actually, you know, to Dave's point, please share what your company's doing, what you're excited about. Start that dialogue on LinkedIn, because as you know, there's lots of people there that are active that are also coming to the conference. We also wanted to make it easy on you to find information to see every single thing that we've announced. So it's all curated for you on our website. So just go to that QR code or go to our attendee section, and event updates are nicely organized right there for you. So that hits all the highlights that you would want. I wanted to leave you with a checklist. So for those of you that have not registered yet, or you're new to the conference, again, this is only for anybody who's new to the conference or has not registered. You can get 10% off today because you joined us. So thank you. And then if you are going to book housing, the earlier the better. The deadline is officially the September 22nd, but you would definitely want to do that this week. So start your planning, review that schedule, familiarize yourself, really start to make your plan. And then for those of you that register, you know, the early bird does get the worm. Really want to block off your calendar when you know that you have a session you definitely want to go to. You know, make sure that that's blocked first before you go out and start requesting meetings, to make sure that your calendar is effective, efficient, and honestly, you arrive with a plan of action. That'll make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. That attendee list, the public one is updated weekly, but the partnering one is in real time. So for anybody that's registered, that's where you're going to see the real-time registration list. For those of you that want to promote yourselves, your company, whether you're speaking, you're sponsoring, you name it, we have a marketing toolkit also available on the website. So,
Aaron, there was one last question, which is a good segue, and I know we're at the top of the hour, but it was about posting from Pamela Strug. Are we allowed to record messages to post on social media at the conference? So do you just want to chat about that quickly? I know we're very active on social media, our team. So
if you have a video and you want to use our hashtag, it's MTC25 or MedTechCon, just add us. We'd love to see it. I think that's what you mean. So that would be great. So thank you, Cynthia, for joining us. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Beth. So much information. I'm just really excited to see you all in just a few short weeks. We just met our friends from San Diego yesterday, and it is always 75 and sunny there. So plan accordingly. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. But we will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for your time today. And reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.